We continue now at the top of Daf Kuf Yud Zayin Amud Beis Meseches Shabbos. This is Shabbos Daf 117b. The Gemara here has Rav Ashi's understanding of the machlokas between the Rabbanan and Ben Beseira in terms of what is a mavoi mefulish, what is a mavoi she'ena mefulish, when you're saving this Sefer Torah from a fire. As the Mishnah said, where are you taking the Sefer Torah? Elo Amar Rav Ashi, rather Rav Ashi says, Shalosh mechitzos v'lechi echad. If an alleyway has 3 walls and 1 lechi, Zeh mavoi she'ena mefulish. That's considered a mavoi that is not open. It's a closed mavoi. And again, according to the Rabbanan, you must have that. You must take the Sefer Torah to that kind of an area. And Ben Beseira says, Gimel mechitzos below lechi. If you have 3 walls without a lechi, you don't even need the lechi. Zehu mavoi ha-mefulish. That's a mavoi mefulish, and that's the kind of mavoi even. Ben Beseira says you can even take it to a mavoi mefulish, to that kind of mavoi. Va'afilu l'Rabbi Eliezer. And now the Gemara explains. This goes even according to Rabbi Eliezer. The Amar Bo'inan l'chayayim, who says that you need to have 2 lechis in general. Hani mili la'ochlin u'mashkin. That's for food and drink. Aval a Sefer Torah, but when it comes to saving a Sefer Torah, bechad lechi sagi, even 1 lechi is going to be good. Now this answer satisfies everything because it comes out, we're following Rabbi Eliezer's opinion that normally you need 2 lechis. By a Sefer Torah, everyone agrees you can be more lenient. Question is just how much more lenient you can be. According to the Rabbanan, 1 lechi suffices. And according to the opinion of Ben Beseira, you don't even have to have any lechis, and it's still going to be good. Rashi here explains, Elamar Ravashi ben Rabbanan uvein Ben Beseira, whether you hold like whether the Rabbanan or Ben Beseira, Rabbi Eliezer, Svirlu, they both hold like Rabbi Eliezer, the boy gimel mechitzas ubeis l'chayayim, bialma, who require in general cases to have 3 mechitzas with 2 lechis. Lagabe Sefer, when it comes to Sefer Torah over here, Amri Rabbanan Mod Rabbi Eliezer b'lechi echad. The Rabbanan say you can be lenient with 1 lechi. Ben Beseira Amar Mod Rabbi Eliezer af below lechi. And Ben Beseira says Rabbi Eliezer would allow it even without any lechis at all. And bechad lechi sagi le'mil, so the Rabbanan kamafarshi. Rashi just says that line of the Gemara needing 1 lechi. That is the opinion of the Rabbanan. Now here the Mishnah turns to the issue we were just discussing, which is what about saving food and drink in case of a fire? We just talked about saving a Sefer Torah. So the Mishnah here says, Matzilan mazon gimel seudos haroi la'adam haroi lebehema. You can save 3 meals worth of food. That kind of food which is fit for a person, you save it for a person. And that kind of food which is fit for an animal, you save it for an animal. Ketzad, how so? Nafla deleka b'leilei Shabbos. If the fire happens on the evening of Shabbos on Friday nights, Matzilan mazon gimel seudos. You save 3 meals. B'shachris, if it happens in the morning, Matzilan mazon beis seudos. Then you can save 2 meals because there's only 2 meals left for Shabbos. The mincha, if the fire happens in mincha, mazon suda achas, then you just save 1 meal. Rabbi Yossi says, Liola matzilin mazon shalosh sudas. Rabbi Yossi says you always save 3 meals. It doesn't make any difference whether there's how many meals are left. You always do that. Rashi here says, Nafla delega b'leilei Shabbos kodem achil. If it happens Friday night before you eat, so you have 3 meals left. Shachris kodem suda. If it happens in the morning before the meal, you have 2 meals left. And then we have the opinion of Rabbi Yossi, Liolam hu matzil hoil v'yoma bar hachi, since it is a day of 3 meals. Uvehetera tarach, and he's at the end of the day he's moving things around which are heter. To habnei tiltel ninhu, these things are not muksa. Or l'chatzer hamureves, he's moving into a chatzer with an erev. Va'afilu tuva havasharile. And Rashi explains, really, you could have saved as much food as you wanted. Ilav mishum gezerah, except that there's a particular gezerah to limit the amount of food you save. But in terms of fundamentally, really, there's nothing you're really doing wrong. So that's why he says you can always save 3 meals worth. Gemara, this will be explained in the Gemara. This is the very first question of the Gemara. The Gemara says, Michti, let us see. The guy is doing something that's mutter. Not still tzvei, let him save more. What does he need to save so little for? Rashi says, Michti batera katarach chazal atilto l'chatzer hamureves. It's something that is allowed to be moved on Shabbos. It's not muksa. You're taking it to a chatzer which has an erev. What's the issue? So Amar Rava says, Mitoch she'adam bo'al al mamona, because a person is frantic over his money, if you allow him to save more than this prescribed amount, he's actually going to come to do an Isser D'Oraisa of putting out the fire. Rashi says, if you allow him to do such a big salvation of his property, because he's so frantic trying to save it, minshile Shabbos, he'll forget his Shabbos, he's going to end up putting out the fire. That's Rava's end up putting out the fire. That's Rava's opinion. Amar le Abai says back to Rava, Eloha detanya, but what about the following brisa which says, Nishbara lo chavis barosh gago. Let's say a person has a barrel that breaks on top of his roof. Mevi kli umeniach tachteh. So you're allowed to take a kli and put it below where the liquid is dripping, whatever it is you're trying to save is dripping, and it can catch it. Uvilvad shelo yavi kli acher v'yiklot kli acher v'yitzarif. But don't bring a kli and be collate. We'll see that in Rashi. And don't bring another kli and be mitzarif. There's limitations of how you're allowed to save this whatever it is, whether it's wine or whatever it is. There's limitations. So Abaya says, according to you, Hasamai Gezerah Ika. What's the Gezerah over there? Again, over there also you're not doing anything particularly wrong. So why do we say you're allowed to save it in this manner, not in that manner? So Rava says, Hachanami, over there also, Gezerah Shem Yavi Kli Derech Rosh Hashanah. We're afraid if we let you do it in every way possible, you'll end up bringing a Kli from Rosh Hashanah, which is an Isser Dorais of carrying. Rashi explains just the details over here. V'yiklot kiluach hanofel min ha'avir. Yiklot means you're catching it in midair. Instead of placing the Kli down on the ground to catch the wine which is falling, you're catching it in midair. The other way that you're not allowed to do it is v'yitzaref samuch legag ke'ein she'iva. You put it near the roof, like right where it's coming off the roof, as if you're drawing it. El she'eno roy lishov shagag cholak. You can't really do she'iva. The roof is smooth. V'hayayin eno beguma. You're not able to draw it up. It's not like it's in a pit, so it's kind of it's really running off. So mitzaref kli legag. What you basically do is you attach the vessel to the roof. You put it very close. Sheyazv min hagag lekli, that it poured right into the kli. V'uochez hakli biyada. You're holding the kli in your hand. Basically, any way where you're kind of holding the kli in your hand to catch the wine, that's going to be a problem. So the Gemara asks, Hasamai Gezerah Ikor. Abai asked, what's the Gezerah over here? Kaven demidi dehetero. You're doing something mutter. Hamaylo yiklot v'yitzarif. Why not do it in these other fashions? And he answered, Shem yavi kli mitoch shu mechazer al kelim harbe yishkach v'yavi. Now he's going to try looking for many different kelim. He'll forget what's going on, and he'll bring other kelim from Rosh Hashanah, and therefore there's a Gezerah in that case as well. Gemara now analyzes this case, Gufa, this case that we just said, Nishbur lo chavis barosh gago, maybe kli menech tachteh, ulevad shelo yavi kli acher v'yiklot kli acher v'yitzarif. Again, you could put the kli on the bottom to catch the wine. You can't do it in these other fashions. And then the brisa continues. Nizdamin lo orchin. Let's say it turns out that he has guests, so now he has reason to save more. So maybe kli acher v'kolet, he can even bring another kli and catch the wine. Kli acher v'tzarif, he can bring another kli and get the wine directly from the roof. V'lo yiklot v'acher gach yazmin. However, he shouldn't catch the wine and then invite guests. But he should invite the guests first. So now he actually has guests coming, and then he can catch what he wants. But the brisa concludes, V'ein marimin bekach. You're not allowed to do harama. You can't purposely invite guests you really weren't going to host just to have this leniency. Mishum Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda Amru, but they said in the name of Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda, marimin, you are even allowed to do a harama. You can purposely invite people that you wouldn't have invited otherwise, just in order to save more of this wine. So the Gemara says, Lema bepluksa de Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Yoshua kamifli. This machlokus of whether or not you can do harama, let us say that's actually a machlokus between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yoshua, the Tanya, because we learned in a brisa. Also, if an animal and its child shenaflu labor, they both fall into a pit. Now, there's a halacha that you're not allowed to shecht a mother and its child, animals, on the same day. So you're certainly not going to be able to shecht both of these animals today. So one of them essentially is really muksa. So what do you do if you want to save these animals? So Rabbi Eliezer says, Mala esarishon al manas l'shochto. So you can bring up the first animal on condition that you're going to shecht it. It's going to be used. V'hasheni osalo parnasa b'makomo. B'shvil shalo yamas. And the second animal, just feed it in the pit till the end of Yontif. And that way it won't die. Rabbi Yoshua says, Malin is harishon al manas l'shochto v'eno shochto. You're allowed to bring up the first one in order to shecht it and then decide, okay, I don't really want to shecht this one. Umarim, and you could basically do a harami. You use this loophole. Umales hasheni, and then you could bring up the second one. Ratzah zeh shochet, and then choose whichever one is better. You can decide which one you want to shecht. So it seems to be the same machlokas. This machlokas, Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yoshua, is, can you do harama in this case of the animal? Same exact machlokas over here by the wine that you're saving. So the Gemara says maybe not. Mimai, how do you know it's exactly the same? Maybe over there, by the case of the animals, there's another solution. You could feed the animal in the pit, so he doesn't allow harama. But over here, by the wine, there's really no alternative, so he would allow harama, perhaps. And similarly, Rabbi Yoshua, maybe he only allows it over there because it's tsar b'alechaim. We don't want the animal to be in pain, so we allow harama. But here, where we're just talking about wine, there's no issue of tsar b'alechaim. We would not say the same thing. The Gemara continues with a brisa. Tanar Rabbanan, we learned in a brisa. Hitzil pas nikia. Let's say the person saved clean bread in a situation where there was a fire on Shabbos. Ein matzil pas hadra. He's not allowed to now save inferior bread. Pas hadra, but if he initially saved inferior bread, matzil pas nikia. He is allowed to save clean bread. He can say, oh, this is better bread. I actually prefer this. Umatzilin miyom kippurim l'Shabbos. The Brisa continues, you can save from Yom Kippur to Shabbos. Let's say the fire happens on Yom Kippur, you can save food for Shabbos. Avalo mi Shabbos liyom kippurim, but you can't save from Shabbos to Yom Kippur because there's an entire day of Yom Kippur where you're not eating. You're only going to be eating on Matzah Yom Kippur. Ve'ein tzarich lomer mi Shabbos liyantav. You certainly cannot save from Shabbos to Yontav because again, on Yontav you're actually allowed to prepare food. There's no issue. V'lo mi Shabbos l'Shabbos habon. You also cannot save from one Shabbos to the next. And the Gemara continues with a brisa. Taner Rabbanan, we learned in a brisa. Shachach pas b'tanur. Let's say a person forgot his bread in his oven as Shabbos was starting. That's now going to burn in the oven. The kiddush olav hayom and Shabbos starts. Matzilin mazon shalosh sudas. You can save from the oven 3 meals worth of bread. And then he could tell others to come and save for themselves also 3 meals worth of bread. And when he takes there was a special utensil called a marda, which they used to take the bread out of the oven. They used to stick the bread on the walls of the oven. Don't use that because that's too much of a professional way to remove the bread. Use a knife. Gemara says, "Ini, is that really true?" But they taught in the yeshiva Rabbi Shmuel, "Lo sasa kol malacha yatsa tkiyas shofar uridiyas hapas sheichachma ve'ena malacha." It says, don't do malacha and let's say blowing shofar and this ridiyas hapas, the removing of the bread from the oven. That's called a chachma. It's a skill, but it's not a malacha, so it's not an isur d'oraisa. So the Gemara answers, "Kemad efshar l'shanuye mishanin." And yeah, as much though as you can do a shinoi in this situation, it's better to avoid doing even the chachma. You should try to do it with a shinoi. Do it with a knife. Amar Rav Chisda says, "Liolam yashkim adam lahotzas Shabbos." When a person wakes up on Friday, he should immediately start preparing for Shabbos. And like it says, "V'haya b'yom hashishi ve'echinu eis asher yaviu." It was on Friday that they prepared what they brought la'alter. That means immediately after they brought it, Rashi says at the time of the Havah, they immediately began the hachana preparing for Shabbos. Amar Rav Abba says, "B'Shabbos chayav adam leftzol shtei kikaros." On Shabbos, a person needs to say hamotzi on 2 loaves of bread. Because it says in the Torah, lechem mishnah. It's like two loaves of bread. As we do, we have a lechem mishnah on Shabbos. Amar Rav Ashi says, Chazina leila Rav Kahana denoka tarti. I saw that Rav Kahana, he would take 2 pieces of bread, but he would only really do the b'tziyas hapas on 1 piece of bread. So he would grab in his hands 2 pieces of bread, but when he would do the b'tziyah, which again Rashi says is the birchas hamotzi, that would be on 1 Amar loktu ksiv. He said because it talks about lechem mishnah, it says loktu, collect, grab lechem mishnah, but it doesn't say that by the b'tziyas hapas. It doesn't say the word lechem mishnah. So for that he would just do 1. Rabbi Zeira have batza akula sheiruse. Rabbi Zeira would cut a large slice. Rashi says prusa gedola v'dailo bala osa sauda. He would cut such a large thing; it would be good for the whole meal. But l'chavet Shabbos, this was for the honor of Shabbos. V'nir k'mechavev suda Shabbos l'schazek v'lachol harbe. It was a way of showing that the Seuda was beloved to him. You cut a large slice of bread. Amar le Ravina Rav Ashi. So Ravina said to Rav Ashi, "V'mechsi karav sanusa." But if you do it like that, it looks like you're a glutton. It's gluttony to eat such large amounts. Amar le said to him, "Kaven dechol yuma lo avid." Since we don't do this every day, v'idna hu dekavid, we're only doing it on Shabbos, only doing it today. Lo mechsi karav sanusa. It doesn't look like gluttony. It looks like we're honoring the Shabbos. Rabbi Ami v'Rabbi Asi kimikla lehu rifta de eruva. Rabbi Ami and Rav Asi, when they got the bread that was used for the Erev, they used to have use bread to create an Erev Chatzeres. Shari Lavi, they would actually make a bracha on it. They would make a bracha on it. They would eat it. Why? Amri, because they said Hoel v'savid b'chada mitzvah. Since we did 1 mitzvah with this, the Erev, l'savid b'mitzvah achrona. Let's do another mitzvah. Rashi explains. Meaning sometimes the Erev was in their house, so then they could have the opportunity to do this. Sometimes the Erev was kept in a different house, they wouldn't have the opportunity. That's kimiklu, when it happened to be in their house. They would make the bracha, meaning they would eat it. They would begin the meal with this thing, and that they basically said, if we're already doing the mitzvah of Erev, let's add another mitzvah to this bread. Gemara continues at the 2 dots, Ketzad nafla deleka. It says again, if the fire, depending on when the fire happens, according to the Tanakama, you save that many meals that are remaining for Shabbos. Taner Rabbanan, we learned in a brisa, Kama seudas chayav adam lechol b'Shabbos. How many meals is a person chayav to eat on Shabbos? First opinion, Tanakama is shalosh. She says you need to eat 3 meals. Rabbi Chidka omer arba. Rabbi Chidka says 4 meals. Amar Rabbi Yochanan says Ushneim mikra echad darshu. They're both learning from the same pasuk. Pasuk says Vayomer Moshe chlu hayom. Moshe said, let's eat it today. Ki Shabbos hayom la'Hashem, because today is Shabbos. Hayom lo simtzu b'asada. Today you're not going to find it in the field. He said the word hayom 3 times in terms of eating the mon on Shabbos. So Rabbi Chidka savar hani tzlosa hayom levar mayorsa. Rabbi Chidka says the 3 times Hayom are 3 meals during the daytime, and then there's another meal you have the night and the Friday night, so that's 4 meals. But Rabbanan Savri Bahade Dorser, the Rabbanan say no, the 3 times includes the night meal. Rashi says Tlas Hayom Laminyan Shtalosh Seudos Ba. The 3 times it says Hayom are teaching you 3 meals, and again the question is, does that include the Friday night meal or does that not include it? Gemara says, let's bring a proof from our Mishnah. Tonight we learned in our Mishnah, Nafla Delega B'Leilei Shabbos, if the fire happened on Friday night. And again, the whole Mishnah was about how many meals worth you're going to save, and we'll see as this discussion continues on Kuf Yud Ches Amud Aleph in the next video.